So you're in this rather odd place, this middle lands of awakening. I've said it before, perhaps it still hasn't touched you, that this is the grandest time of all. This is the grandest time of all, a time of celebration of understanding existence within the world of the blind. Am I being too hard by calling this the world of the blind? Absolutely not. But there's a reason they are blind. There's a reason why you were blind. I don't want to get too philosophical, intellectual about it right now, but there was a reason. Now you're emerging from that. You chose to crawl out of that reality. Oh, it's still trying to drag you by the feet and pull you back in, still with all of its seductive forces that work on your mind, that work on your emotions and your heart, especially if there are other people involved in your life, still trying to get you to come back into the world of the blind. But it cannot be done. Oh, you've tried, and when you have, you find you cannot pretend to be asleep when you are partially awake. So what to do next? You open the other eye. You open the other eye. So it begs the question, why isn't the other eye open now? Yeah. Good question. I'll give you a bit of an answer. Awakening, becoming aware, can be very overwhelming. You open one eye and you see what's really out there, and you see who you really are. And just the thought of having to open the other eye, the intensity, the true intensity of that awareness can be overwhelming. So you stop for a bit, and you walk with one eye open, one eye closed, and you continue walking in the world of the blind, but once in a while, coming together with other one-eye beings. And you're waiting for someone else to open that other eye first, and then to say, how was it to have both eyes open? How overwhelming, how beautiful. What did you gain? What did you lose from it? Did you die? Did you want to die when you opened that other eye? Waiting for someone else to do it, to open that other eye. But much like you, with one eye open, trying to go back into the world of the blind and explain to them what vision is, it will be very difficult, very, very difficult for one with both eyes open to explain this reality to one with one eye closed, you see. And the only thing you can do at that point as a two-eyed open being, the only thing to do at that point is to look another in the eyes, letting them see both. Words do not need to be spoken. Actions do not need to be taken. Simply letting them see into the eyes, both eyes, of an awakened, enlightened being. It's that simple. That simple. Everything that would need to be said is said in this instant, you see. It's that simple. That simple. My dear friends, this middle lands of awakening, I cursed it. I tried running from it. I tried pretending that it wasn't there. Yet I look back on it now, such a significant, beautiful, poignant time. Please enjoy it. Please do enjoy it. Because you'll look back with two eyes at some point and realize the significance of what you're doing. really the significance. Awakening isn't anything I'd recommend to my friends. As I said in our last conversation, awakening is cruel. It is cruel in so many ways. No, I wouldn't recommend it to my friends because then they would blame me for it once they were emerged into its depths, of course. No, so I say, please, dear friend, keep both eyes closed for as long as you possibly can. But you know, in spite of my advice to those with two eyes closed, in spite of my advice, one eye is going to awaken sooner or later anyway. One eye is going to start peeking because there's something within the eyes of the blind who can feel that others are starting to open their eyes as well. And you know how humans are. They just want to get a peek. But in awakening, there are no peeks. No. There is not a peep show in awakening. The men laugh, of course. Because once the eye starts to open, once the awareness starts to come in, you can't stop it. Once you have a little bit of awareness, it begs full awareness, full awareness. It has been my pleasure to work with all of you over these past few years as your eyes started to come open, as that one eye grew open, wide, big, as you came to this point of stopping, saying, I'm not sure it's such a good idea to open that other eye. And I would tell my friends, and I would tell Shambra, then don't. Then don't. But in spite of what I say, that other eye is going to come open. It is going to come open in spite of you. And it's going to come open because awareness desires more of itself. Awareness continues to ask for more awareness, for the dissolution of false realities, for the awareness of itself, and ultimately the feeling, the experience of love for itself. So that other eye will come open, and you can resist it. You can try to force it shut. You can go so far as to sew it shut, and it will come open. That's also the good news. That's also where we are. Somewhere in between being blind and having vision. Here we are. So that brings me to my point today of this discourse. My point today, let's title this Shao, just so we don't have all this confusion and this hectic activity afterwards, all these Sunday morning emails, what should we name it? Here's the name. Ready? Bringers of the New Energy. Yeah. It wasn't exactly Shakespeare, but it was good. Bringers of the New Energy. My dear friends, you have gone from being the blind. You have gone from to the very depths of the human experience here on earth. And then as you started awakening, in the very early days of the awakening, you were the energy holders of this earth. Interesting job. As I said to one group recently, it's kind of like being mid-level manager. Now that's being in the Middlelands. That is a curse, I would think. Is anybody here proud of handing a card saying, I am a mid-level manager. I work in a cubicle. I thought that was funny. Don't work in cubicles. So, you were the holders of energy for quite some time, holding it for the planet, for many of you for dozens, hundreds of incarnations, the energy holders, chanting, oming, praying, kneeling, hearing confessions, doing fire ceremonies, and every other thing you could do. There was a value in it. It did help keep a balance of energy on this planet, combined with Gaia and Water. Water so important to this planet. And some humans sitting in caves, oming and chanting each day, not having much of a life, but being really good energy holders. The truth of the matter is, in spite of what anyone tells you, there's no need for energy holders on this planet anymore. That's why the indigenous, love the indigenous, but it's time to move on, dear indigenous. Truly it is. You've been doing it lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. It's time for those who were in the church, the priests and the monks, time for them to move on. That's why the church is slowly dissolving away. We don't need the altars. We don't need the temples as they were anymore. So you were the energy holders. And now comes the exciting part. You were the bringers of the new energy. Now, there is energy abundantly around everywhere, but nobody is bringing it in any appreciable quantity. Everybody, as we've talked about, is getting just enough. But there are very few individuals, and there are no groups of individuals who are truly bringing in the energy. Everybody's using kind of an old and very limited reservoir because of belief systems, because of indoctrination and everything else. There's not a single group out there that is actually actively bringing in the energy. Not at all. Not at all. So for this, you will be the first of a group to do it. Imagine for a moment, and yes, it's good to feel proud or even a little inflated about this. Humanity's been using basically the same amount of energy, and in spite of those who talk about cosmic energies and cosmic events and comets delivering energy to this planet, which all might be true, nobody is using it. They watch a comet fly by and say, wasn't that pretty? Wait for the next one to come around in 20 years. Wasn't that pretty? There's even some who have the understanding and the insight to know that these are delivery mechanisms for energy. But nobody's using it. Nobody's using it. It's like the milkman comes by every morning and puts 6 bottles of milk at the door, but nobody ever opens the door to take the milk. It's just sitting there. Now, energy, unlike milk, does not spoil, doesn't sour, doesn't go bad. But sitting there in huge quantities, amazingly huge quantities, available to each and every one. But nobody is picking up the fork and knife to digest it, to put it in their body, to put it in their reality, to bring it in. It's hovering around. Everybody is waiting. Everybody is in a holding pattern. Why? I don't know. Because they're not sure how to do it. Because they're waiting for somebody else. Because it's hard to do with one eye closed. I do not know. But it's there. So today you're going to have the opportunity, in just a little bit, to be a bringer of new energy, a user of new energy. Using it to create whatever you choose. Sounds simple, sounds something like out of a fairy tale. Combine that with 21 crystal caves, we have a tremendous fairy tale story. But it's all very true.